Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Farah, and in today's video I'm going to be doing the mid-year freakout booktube tag. So we're a little past mid-year. You guys know how I roll. A little bit late on everything, but I thought I'd still go ahead and give it a whirl. So this tag, I don't know who the original creator was, but I'll leave their name right here. And I've seen this tag on a whole bunch of everybody's channels, and I don't know if I was specifically tagged, but I decided to do it anyway. So let's get started with the questions. Question number one is, what has been your favorite book so far this year? So I'm going to pick two because I do read a lot of nonfiction, and I have a favorite nonfiction and a favorite fiction. And this is hard because I have a bunch of 5-star reads, but I think my favorite nonfiction book that I've read this year is an audiobook I listened to called The Only Plane in the Sky, An Oral History of 9/11. And this book was absolutely amazing. It was so moving. It was so well done. It's like a 360-degree account of the events leading up to, during, and after 9/11, the terrorist attack here in the United States in New York City. And it was absolutely amazing. It blew me away. It was so good. And then probably my favorite fiction book. This one's hard, but I'm going to say it was The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. And this tells a story of a young girl, a young black girl who is struggling in poverty and struggling with prejudice against her because of her race and ethnicity. And it was a very beautifully written, beautifully written story that was both moving and heartbreaking. And I really, really loved it. Question number two, what is the best sequel you've read so far this year? So I've only actually read 3 sequels so far. So if I had to pick, I'm going to pick 2. One of them is going to be an audiobook and one is going to be a physical book that I read. So my favorite audiobook sequel that I listened to was Book 2 in the High Republic series called The Rising Storm by Cavan Scott. I just finished listening to this. It was in my previous wrap-up, but it was so well done. It was really a great second book in a series, I thought. It had a lot of great action, great characters, some nice character arcs and depth within them, and the audiobook was fantastic. And then my favorite physical book sequel that I read is going to be The Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman, which I just recently finished as well. And it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. It was the 3rd and final book in a trilogy called His Dark Materials, which starts with the Golden Compass, and I really enjoyed it. Question number 3, what's a new release you haven't read yet but you want to? So I think only one comes to mind that's been out. And this one is called What Feasts in the Night, and this is by T. Kingfisher, and it is book number 2 in, I don't know what this series is called, it's something Soldier, but the first book was What Moves the Dead, and it was a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe, and I'm really looking forward to reading the second book. I think it's What Feasts in the Night, I'm pretty sure, but I no reason why I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm just still doing the Read What You Own challenge. And question number 4, what's your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? I don't follow new releases very often. I tend to read a lot of backlist books, but this one in particular I'm really, really excited for, and it's coming out in September, and it's called Celestial Monsters by Aidan Thomas. And this is the second and final book in a duology, which started with The Sunbearer Trials, which was one of my favorite books of the year last year. And it's a fantasy, I think it's YA fantasy, but it's basically like, the first book was basically like a mixture of The Hunger Games and Percy Jackson, but with a Mexican mythology theme to it. And it was so good. I loved it. So I'm really looking forward to Celestial Monsters, which is coming out soon. Question number 5, what was your biggest disappointment of the year? I would have to say, I wasn't too disappointed by many books, but there were 2 that I DNF'd, and probably the bigger disappointment was called A Week in Winter by Maeve Binchy, and I didn't have huge expectations for this. This was a book that I randomly thrifted, but I had heard a lot of good things about Maeve Binchy, and I just didn't really like the way she laid out that story. It was one of those stories where you think you're following one character, but then you change characters and it never really fully circled back around. So it was weird. I ended up DNFing probably about a third of the way through. So I was just a little disappointed, but I'm not going to judge her on just that book because I think she has better books out there. Question number 6, what was your biggest surprise? I think my biggest surprise might be also one of my favorite books of the year, but this was called I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. And I think I was so surprised how much I loved it and how I knew the writing was going to be beautiful. I mean, I know she was an amazing author. I just didn't realize how much I would love it. And I really, really loved it. It was very beautifully told. It was moving. It was gorgeous. Really loved it. And this, I mean, I chose The Bluest Eye for my favorite, but this one could easily be my favorite too. Question number 7, favorite new author, debut, or new to you? And I would have to go with Toni Morrison. I just loved her writing so much and I can't wait to read more by her. I'm definitely going to be checking out Beloved, and I really want to read pretty much anything that she's written. So if you guys have any other favorites by Toni Morrison that you've read, that you've enjoyed, please let me know in the comments. Question number 8, who is your newest fictional crush? Honestly, I don't have one. I can't think of anybody that comes to mind. Probably the only one, maybe a little bit, would be a character in Clarissa by Samuel Richardson. Taking place in the 1700s, there's this one character who is our villain's friend, and he's getting a lot more airtime now in the novel, and he's really nice, and he's sweet, and he's kind, and he's kind of like one of the shining people that's helping Clarissa. So I don't know, I guess him, but not really. Question number 9, newest favorite character. The newest favorite character. This is hard too. I think I would go with, I have to look at her name because I can't remember, but it's a character from another one of my favorite books of the year, which is called The Mountains Sing. And she was the grandmother in the story. Her name is Tran Dulan. And the story follows her life from when she was young all the way up into her later years as a grandmother. And her story was so amazing, and she was so badass, and she was such a great, strong female character who loved her family and her children so much, and she was an amazing mother, and she just survived these awful situations. So yeah, she's my new favorite character. Question number 10, a book that made you cry or the saddest book you've read? Oh, well, a bunch of them made me cry, but I think the one that made me cry the most was The Only Plane in the Sky, The Oral History of 9/11, for obvious reasons. Number 11, a book that made me happy. So this is a graphic novel I just read. I haven't even blogged about it yet, but it's called Garlic and Vampire. And this is a graphic novel, middle grade, and it was so cute. Oh my gosh, it was so cute. I found myself smiling like the second. Okay, the story is about this little community of people that are vegetables, and they grow vegetables, and they grow the vegetable that they are. So we're following this young girl. I don't know how old she's supposed to be, but her name is Garlic, and she's a little tiny garlic bulb. And she's kind of nominated by her veggie friends to go and approach this vampire that's arrived in a castle nearby, because she's Garlic and they think that she's going to be safe against the vampire. And once she meets the vampire, I could not stop smiling the whole time I was reading the rest of the book. So it just made me so happy. It was so cute and sweet. I loved it, and I highly recommend it to any of you that enjoy reading middle grade graphic novels, or if you have younger people in your lives, and I think would be a great book to give them. Number 12, what's the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received? This is another tricky one because I haven't bought many books at all. I'm doing the Read What You Own challenge, but on my birthday I did buy one, and then I'm just going to show you another one was already in my collection this year that I just think is beautiful. So this is the one I bought. This one is called The Forest, A Fable of America in the 1830s. And I just really, really like this cover. I love the colors in it. I love the way it's illustrated. It's a beautiful hardback. Yeah, this is probably my favorite cover that I've bought so far this year. And then one of my favorite covers I already had was this edition of The Great Gatsby and Other Stories by F. Scott Fitzgerald. And I just really love how it's foiled like that. It has this woman in a beautiful dress, and it has these stars that are falling down, and The spine looks really pretty and the back is really pretty and the edges are gold and it has a ribbon in it, and yeah, it's just lovely. I love it. Question number 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And I have a couple. I mentioned them in my fun summer TBR, big books I want to finish this summer. So all of those that I listed, but most importantly, Clarissa by Samuel Richardson. I have been reading this for almost 3 years. It's 1,500 pages, very small print, and it's an epistolary novel, so it's taking me forever. I know that I'm going to finish this within the next couple weeks though, but that is for sure the #1 book I need to finish this year. And I think I skipped a question by accident. So what is your favorite video that you've made this year so far? And I think I would have to pick my Northern Lights vlog. I can't remember the title of it, but I'll put a picture of the thumbnail here, but it's a vlog I did somewhat recently. Maybe the vlog before this one that I just posted, or 2 before, but it, I really like how that one came out. I think I added some drone footage of the area that was really pretty, and just catching on camera my reaction to seeing the Northern Lights in our backyard for the first time ever. It was a really special moment for me, and I'm glad I could incorporate it in a vlog. So that wraps it up for my mid-year freakout tag. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm not going to tag anybody because I'm pretty late on this one, but if you haven't done it yet, it's never too late. I would love to hear your answers, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Take care, everybody.